Hey guys, how is everybody? Hope you're well. Hope I got a good camera angle here on this. If you guys remember, we've done some milling, showed several videos on it. We got a couple Farmertec failures. I don't know what happened or what's up, but I may start this thing up here today and it'll be fine. I do know it developed a really bad lean issue. It really leaned on the spool down, couldn't get much of a 4-stroke out of it at all. It had very little power in the cut. So what we're going to do is inspect this one. We did have another failure, but that may be another video. I don't really want to do them both in one video because I don't know what I'm going to get into on this. We want to thank everybody for subscribing, whether you watch long or short content. We're not picky. A view's a view. Never did intend for this channel to make a big deal of money. It makes a little bit of money, we'll put it that way, and you know, we appreciate every one of you. That's just all I'm getting at. Even the haters. If you want to make a comment and hate, I may pick back at you a little bit and then probably delete it, unless it's, you know, not that bad. And then I usually just leave them. Background on this saw. I would have to go back and look. This build's going on over 3 years, I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I know the other two that I done, I still have one of those 660s is going on 2 years, so we originally done this one to put it in a mill. I milled a lot of lumber with it. It done pretty good. We milled a couple hundred board foot with it up at Dad's, and there's a YouTube notification. And then she developed their leak, so I don't know, who knows what we're going to find. But anyway, I built this saw and ended up saying, well, I'm not going to mill with it anymore, so I went back into it and turned the heat up on the port work a little bit. Put a pop up in it, mainly done lower transfer work. I need to make a video on that. I'm just curious myself of what it really does. Most of the ones, the way I do it, they do end up with more throttle response and being more snappy, but is it really helping aid in performance? Is it killing velocity? I don't know. I've got an old saw here we just done recently that I plan on doing something different with. I never touched the lowers on it, so that may be a video in the future, but do a before and after, you know, when I've got the decent sized piece of wood here, you know, just to see if grinding on the lowers is really worth doing or if it's detrimental. You know, there's a lot of arguments there, case compression, and you know, that ain't really an argument. That's, you know, you have to have case compression, you have to have velocity, where they just won't rev. They'll rev, they just won't rev as high as your timing numbers indicate they should rev. We're going to save all that for another video. I do plan on getting kind of technical in another video when we get to that. But anyway, let's start this thing up and see what it does. I'll tell you what, before that, if I can find one of these little tuning screwdrivers, I would really like to, I had one just laying here, there it is. I would really like to see where the tune-up's at on it. German Shepherd barking. Someone probably just came out the door. What I'm thinking is maybe the strainer picked something up. There's one out. These saws usually run pretty good just right there. Holy shit. There's half, one and a half. We'll try that. Let's see how she fires up. Might have to move this stool for just a second. We'll see. I better stand up. carb or choke decomp in. Okay, now I just seen this in another video, and I'm not picking at anyone or anything, but you see how that saw came up, it hit its 4-stroke or blubber or whatever you want to call it. Then it went to zing into the moon. That is not a good thing. That is not normal. That is not what you want in any saw. You want it to come up 4-stroke, and you want it to sit there on that 4-stroke. If it doesn't and goes up past that, you have a fuel starvation issue. Now, in my experience, when they idle that good, I can flip it around, spin it around. You really shouldn't start on the first pull, but it's been hot here in this shop. It's like 80 degrees. Sun right on it, which means it's probably, before I opened the doors, it's probably 100 degrees in this building. Probably had tank pressure build up. It's probably dripping off a little past that Chinese carb. OEM carbs will do that too. But starting on the first pull is not really a good thing. I ain't saying it's bad either, but we have a fuel starvation issue. But again, the dog barking as soon as I go to talking. This is more than likely the carburetor, fuel line, strainer. What I was getting at by flipping it around, and idle never changes as good as that thing's sitting and idling. I highly doubt there's an air leak anywhere. It's probably what I'm going to do, and I'll do it off camera for sake of the battery. I've only got one battery on this camera. We're going to yank the carburetor off and pull the fuel pump diaphragm cover side and have a look at that screen. I'm willing to bet there's some fines or something. What had happened, and I'll just tell you guys, I'd covered up my small fuel jug with with fines from milling. When you're milling, you get fines. You don't get chips, you get fines. That's the way the milling chains are. You're cutting against the grain. You get fine sawdust. That jug got covered, but I was like, well, hell, there's no way it got down in the spout, but it wasn't half a tank into that runs when the saw started acting up. So I'm expecting to find something like that, but that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to drain what fuel's in it out, have a look at it, and we'll go from there. That ain't Kool-Aid, guys. Don't drink it. As soon as I pulled the fuel cap off, there was fines in behind the fuel cap, so more than likely I would say carb screen stopped up, hopefully, is the issue with it. So this one wasn't really my fault or Farmertec's fault, but we're going to yank the carb and make 90% sure of that. Guys, I don't know if it'll pick up on the strainer. I can wipe fines just all off of it. So it was doing its job. It ain't no macro lens, but it's tracking it pretty good, I guess. There's our issue. We dumped a tank full of sawdust down it, I guess. I'll bring you guys back once I get the carb off, but I'm going to continue to proceed on cleaning this tank out. Well, guys, I don't know how well that's showing up, if at all. Yeah. I don't have to tell you what that is, what's on it. Evidently the filtration system, which I know I should probably, where we zoomed in or out, we get the camera angle back right. Camera angle way off. There we go. It's looking like we're zoomed out. Should really put like a film of grease around this, but what I may do is I've got some real fine felt like goes around a door or a window in your house. This thing acts like the digital zooms on. I'll have to look into that when I pause again, but it's eating fines. We'll get it back around and see how it's acting, but she's been eating some fines, real fine stuff like that. Won't necessarily kill one right away, but over time it will take things out on it. But what I'm going to do now is pull the carb. It's super simple, just these two nuts. I've got another video doing it, rebuilding it, I think, on one of these. I'm going to pull the carb off and then I'll bring you guys back. She kind of stopped up. I've seen a lot worse, but that normally is the culprit. What I'll do is clean that out good. I'll pull the diaphragm side off and make sure everything in there is good to go. And blow it out, get it back together and on the saw, and I'll bring you guys back and show you what we've got then. I did have a look at the piston. It looks fine what I can see of it, so hopefully it ain't sucked enough down it to hurt anything. Well guys, the filter definitely doing its job. I pulled that outer cover off and yeah, she is caked full. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little film of grease right now around that for now before I put the filter back on, but I've got to clean it first. Well guys, I've got it back together. That air filter was filthy, and when I pulled the meter and diaphragm side off, there was some fines in there. There's fines everywhere. Let's just hope it didn't hurt anything. I don't think it did, because it still feels like it still has adequate enough compression, but that'll be another video. We're going to do something with that as well. We're going to turn it into a real hot milling saw, but if nothing's hurt on it, but if anything is, we'll just fix it, whatever. Let's see if she'll pop back off. This saw's nothing like trying to start the black one or the big bore saw. You can about leave the decomp out on it and fire it. fixer did, but that's probably 14.2. Good fat blubber. That fixed her up. That's a good thing. Oil them. I guess, you know, I am going to do some mods to the saw. It will be another video. My ears are ringing stupid loud now. I'd left my earmuffs at home and wheeled all that lumber the other day over the weekend with no earmuffs. I always wear ear protection when wheeling. It's just, you know, you're there that close to the power head and it's that loud for that amount of time. But this one's good to go again, but I'm not going to put this saw back in the mill the way it is unless I absolutely need to. We're going to take maybe next week or something. Dad said there were some trees up there that blew down that had root rot, but the rest of the trees may be good. You don't know till we go to cutting in them, but they were back in the mountain. I think he's going to have to get the tractor up there to drag those out. But what I'm saying is, before we get into falling any more trees for milling, we may have wood to mill. But I want this thing to have just a little more oomph to it. I don't remember where the exhaust roof was at on it, with the pop-up and decking the cylinder. I know I put this thing pretty tight, but the pop-up and 20,000 squish will not get you the compression of one that's had the band cut, even with a flat top in it. I don't care who argues it or what. As you can see, that thing just sits and held on the 4-stroke indefinitely. I could fatten it on up if I wanted to or needed to, but I think she needs a little more oomph. It's probably making, you know, the more compression than say a stock 660, but that old 066 we just sent home had better port time on stock than these 660s do, or even the steel 660s, and you have to do machine work to these to get them to run as good as that older saw. And the port timing and the machine work and everything's where it's at. Your compression and the port timing is where it's all at. All that other shit's just fine detail stuff. I know this is not a short blowdown saw, but it acts like it. And a lot of that's where the transfers on this, I'm pretty sure, case fed. I'll probably leave the pop-up in it, but we may go back into this saw and do a little machine work to it. We'll check compression beforehand, port timing and everything, of course, and I'd like to get compression on it up above 200, 210 or something. I think it'd have a little more grunt in the mill. I know so because the black saw's gruntier, and you know, it has a freaking 8-pin on it. You know, that 8-pin's killing it in the mill. But I've went on enough. This one's ready to, if I wanted to bar it back up and go out and cut wood with it, she's back up and ready for action. Anyway, anyone that watched this or anyone that might have helped, I'm not trying to start crap over the 4-stroke, but if you've got one that comes off 4-stroke and goes to zinging, it's got problems. Most any decent builder knows that anyway, but as always, thank you guys for watching. Y'all stay safe. Everybody have a great day.